As some of you may know, California has been working on a new law that would require all real estate licensees to have a buyer representation agreement in place. Now, as you know, the NAR settlement requires realtors to have a buyer representation agreement in place. That's realtor policy. That's part of NAR. That's not a law. But California has been working on a law, and I did a video on this. It's Assembly Bill 2992. I did a video where I showed how it passed unanimously through the first committee review. And now I see that this has actually been enacted into law. And I found out because I got a comment on the YouTube channel, and the comment was, it was kind of confusing at first. Now, a lot of people have different angles. They're angry at NAR, they're angry at the MLS, they don't like the monopoly, they might be even a home seller that doesn't like realtors. I mean, there's all sorts of people that editorialize their comments. And this one I kind of had to unravel because I didn't understand what this person's point was. But then I realized that, so given that this law is passed, and then all independent agents are going to be required in California, or are now required in California, to have a representation agreement. Of course, there are going to be independent agents or agents that are trying to do some sort of a new approach to the business that are going to get angry about it. So this law, of course, I mean, you have to understand that this law, although it's under the ostensible reason of consumer protection, you have to think about who actually pushed this law through. And there's even a press release on CAR's website, the California Association of Realtors, and they're applauding the passage of the bill on September 24th, and they're saying that the California Association of Realtors today issued a statement on the passage of California Association of Realtors sponsored Assembly Bill 2992, and CAR applauds Governor Newsom for signing the CAR-sponsored bill into law as part of a package of bill that strengthens protections for California consumers, or so they say, right? They always use the term consumer, and it may help consumers. I mean, but they always use that term even when it doesn't. I mean, that's how this whole lawsuit, this whole thing began, with that original lawsuit that ultimately led up to this settlement. I mean, yeah, sure, it's for consumer protection, got it. But this particular agent, we went back and forth a couple times in the comment because at first I was trying to wrap my head around what this agent, I mean, he's saying stuff like realtor spin, that it's a requirement, and I'm trying to unravel, like, okay, what's this guy's angle? All right, but I look, and when I see the law is enacted with the same text that I read before when I did the other video, and I'll read this text with you so you know what this law means. I mean, it's pretty clear that this levels the playing field for independent agents and realtors, meaning any advantage you have of not being a realtor and not having to participate in this whole NAR settlement with cooperating broker compensation and the representation agreement, that the walls are closing in on independent agents. And I'm not happy about this. I actually don't even really have a stance on this because I'm still kind of absorbing what this means. But of course, anyone that saw the advantage, because there was an advantage, if you didn't have to have a buyer representation agreement, if you weren't a realtor, well, there's an incentive to not be a realtor and just stay as an independent real estate agent. And so, of course, those independent agents are probably going to be extremely pissed off about this. And so let me explain why. Because I copy and pasted in my comment the exact verbiage of this bill, because this the verbiage on this bill closes the loophole. And if you don't believe me, look at who sponsored the bill. You can see that this bill was sponsored by CAR. Why would CAR want to do this right after the settlement? And Zillow. And they had their lobbyists there at the hearings. I mean, they pushed this bill through. They wanted it done. And so do you think CAR is going to lobby for this bill to get pushed through and leave a loophole open for independent agents? No. So part of the reason that this agent was upset with my video, I don't know about upset, but critical, let's say, is because, I mean, this person was cordial. They weren't rude like some of these for sale by owner types that leave these ridiculous, nasty comments on the YouTube channel because they don't like realtors. But this person didn't like this part. A buyer, so this is part of the law. I'm reading this is text from the law that just passed. A buyer broker representation agreement shall be executed between a buyer's agent, so that's all real estate licensees, and a buyer as soon as practicable, but no later than the execution of the buyer's offer to purchase real estate or real property. Okay, and then it goes on to define what a representation agreement is, which is, surprise, basically the exact same thing you're using if you're a realtor. Okay, so I think this person, so the point that this person got hung up on, and I think other independent agents, and that's another reason I'm making this video, to just dispel the nonsense. Okay, it's saying that you need a representation agreement as soon as practicable. Well, when is that? So my answer would be, if you have enough time to have phone calls with the buyer and set up an appointment and set up a showing, how could you not put together a representation agreement that takes a couple of minutes, and then either print it out and bring it with you, or send it through DocuSign, or send it and have your client sign and scan back to you? I mean, the point is they're saying as soon as reasonable, but then they even put in, but no later than the execution of the buyer's offer. Now, someone that doesn't like this might say, oh, well, I don't have to have it. See, I can have it no later than the execution of my offer, right? So I'll just wait until I write an offer. No, that's a complete misinterpretation, because, and I'm not defending this law, I'm just trying to convey the message of what's going on here, because hey, the walls are closing in on all of us, okay? Whether you're independent or not independent, I've been working on all these sorts of open source forums. I'm all for the sphere outside of the realtor matrix that everyone's plugged into, but I'm also a member of many associations of realtors, and I manage hundreds of realtors, so I'm going to be very compliance oriented and intelligent about this, and I'm not trying to twist the rules to what I hope. I'm trying to explain what they are as they are. And so it's saying as soon as practicable, right there, that tells you, hey, within reason, as soon as one would have time to put together an agreement, print it out, and have someone sign, which takes just a few minutes, that's how soon you need to have it done. And it says, and by the way, if you're trying to twist what that means, well, so they put in the no later than the execution of buyer's offer to purchase property. That's saying, like, listen, maybe the buyer didn't even go see it with you. Maybe you were standing in front of a listing and a car pulled up and a buyer said, hey, are you the agent for that property for sale? Can I see it? And you turn around and you say, sure, let me show you inside. And that buyer happens to buy the property. I mean, at that point, it wasn't practicable for you to whip out a representation agreement out of your pocket because you had no idea. But it's saying that should even some rare instance like that occur, then but by the time you're writing the offer for that buyer that magically appeared out of nowhere, you must have the representation agreement signed. But if you use that their absolute deadline of when you write an offer as wiggle room to do showings and run around with some buyer and send them listings and email and text and everything, then you're in violation of the first part of this law. So I'm just telling you here, this whole as soon as practicable means basically the same thing as the realtor policy. Why? Because the realtor lobby sponsored this bill. They did it to level the playing field. Do you think they just did this? Oh, we're thinking of consumer protection and we're not going to close the loophole on independent agents. Absolutely not. They knew exactly what they're doing. They're not dumb. They have Zillow there too. So that's it. Emergency broadcast over. I just want to share this. Assembly Bill 2992, if you want to look it up, signed into law. All agents in California must have a buyer representation agreement in place as soon as practicable. Thank you for watching.